the last little bit of tokens I have out of Fable. They limited the data basically starting this morning or yesterday maybe, but I noticed it first thing this morning, and it was prompting me to, hey, you're almost out. So, and I had, I think, 80% this morning, and now I'm at about 90%, 91% through it. So I've been switching back and forth between Fable and Opus to try to save some capacity or save my tokens a little bit. But one session that I really liked, the last couple of ones, was basically I started the session almost pleading with Fable. Like, I made a project just for Fable and gave it just certain documents that I wanted it to have access to. And I said, let's close this out. Like, look at all of my projects, that we've worked on. And let's close this out with Hermes. And I said, let's close this out. This might be my last run with you, so I want to make it count. We need to pick up where we left off. And, so I've been doing that in the last couple of threads. And he does this cool handoff where it's like he's leaving tidbits behind to help my agent train better. Like, I got a model, a training guide, and I asked a couple of questions. Let's see. So final wrap up. So see, he gives this handoff every time, and I say, oh, that was my make it count one. And then this one, I said, hi, Fable. We are starting a new session with Hermes. Please help me move forward with our projects. This may be the last session we ever have together. Thank you for all of your help. It's been a pleasure. So telling him you're poor, telling him that, how much you appreciate it, I've noticed helps quite a bit. Just my interpretation of it. Let's see. So one of the things I asked him about was, look at everything we've done. How do I best scale this and design the system to scale? So we went through that. And then and that was another thing I noticed about this version of Fable. The first time we had hands on it, it gave you like these 3 nice follow-up suggestions where it would just build out basically the next step of the project. So if you started out with architecture, it would like naturally just move on to engineering and like so on and start building out the next obvious step. And this one doesn't do that. But this question, for whatever reason, look at everything we've done. How do I best scale and design the system to scale? Caused him to ask, want me to turn this into a formal scaling directive doc in your house format that you can hand to Hermes at our next master directive? I said, yes, please. So scaling directive is now ready. And then just stuff like that. Okay, and then I got into a pretty good series here with him. I said, I kind of squeezed it out of him a little bit here. Seed design, core architecture principle. I have a vision for a system. I want to have some sort of rating system for agents. Okay, this is not good. Austin, you have to do that outside the sissy. Okay, you can't bang on the drum right here. Okay, you gotta go over here and help Sissy, okay? Out of there. Last time you shut everything off and unplugged my mouse and all sorts of things. It took me lots of time to try to figure out what was wrong. Oh, it is unplugged. What? Where's your truck? Come on. Where's your truck? It's not under here. I promise. There's no truckie. Okay, your truckie's out here. Your bang bang's out with Sissy. Sissy's got your bang bang. I took it out there. Oh my God, they're all banging on drums. They had all day to bang on drums, and now they just want to bang on drums as soon as I hit record. This is just absolutely incredible. But let's see, best practices. So I asked for basically a rating system so that my Hermes can understand the type of feedback I have better. And so it gave me some best practices for a rating system, especially for design. One thing that I really got a lot out of Fable were a lot of best practices. Like, so I asked about best practices for rating systems, particularly with design. So it's hard to give feedback to the agents when you go to a link or they've designed a page for you. It's like, what is the best way to let them understand whether or not you liked it, and some shorthand or emojis to help define those things. Step-by-step build orders. Give me more on step one. So I just kept saying, tell me, because it gave me it in like 7 steps. So I had kind of developed a prompt for each step that would give me these downloads, more explicit directives to guide my Hermes how to build. And then I started asking for seeds, like examples, like, okay, it's one thing to tell Hermes what you want, but to have some sort of a seed example was something that I wanted. And schemas, let's see, give me more on this. Yeah, and then he started giving me, a website engine that I ended up deciding with the website engine. I was just going to blend that with the presentation engine, because nowadays it seems like I was just doing HTML presentations. So I'm like, okay, well, I might as well just make it a website engine and kind of merge the two together. And then I asked for watchdog departments instead of saying security. And then I told my Hermes that we were working with Fable, and to make sure that any prompts that he gave back to me would help us with things and not use certain words and stuff. So that was really useful and seemed to get us a little farther. As soon as I brought Hermes in and let him be aware that what kind of some of the constraints might be. And then I asked, what about quantum? Because I wanted to build something in our system about quantum. And so we went through that and talked about, it wasn't flagged or anything, asking about quantum. And hardening directive, local audits, handoff, more handoff playbooks, reaction layer, a lot of handoff playbooks, HQ spine, so spines, and let's see, what else? Just trying to help you guys out, give you ideas on what to ask for before. It seems like they extended it, so if you still do have credits, we have until the 8th. I believe it was going to cut off originally at 10 p.m. tonight, and then it looked like 10 p.m. tomorrow, and now I think it's on the 8th. And I was just like panicking. Like, oh my God, this is going to run out. What am I going to do? What am I going to get done? How am I going to live after this is all gone? I keep telling myself I'll be fine. Something else is going to happen. Something's going to give. Let's see. I basically asked him, how do I train my agent to be more like you? Yeah, and I basically asked Fable, how do I train my systems to be more like you? How do I train my agent to be more like you? How do I use my models in a more efficient way to have higher executive function? Things like that. I just kept asking those kinds of questions, and we'll see how it all turns out. I still have 10% more to go. Godspeed, and hope everyone's having a great day. I'm going to get back to it. Bye-bye.